Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this tutorial, we will going to cover the very interesting topic that is window function part 2. So I have already created a window function part 1 video. If you have not watched that video, I would suggest you to please go and watch that. I will provide the link in the description. So without wasting a time, let's move on to topic. Before we start with the topic, I would request if you are new to my channel, please subscribe my channel. This will give us some motivation to do the more hard work for you guys. So let's start the video. So here we will going to focus on, in the window function part two is first value, last value, frame clause, alternative way to write a SQL query using a window function, nth value, entile function, cumdist, and percentile. So these are the topic we will going to cover. I know this video will little longer, but I would suggest you to please stay tuned to this video. At the end of this video, I will guarantee you that you don't have to look for the any other video for the window function. So let's start the video. So if you can see my screen, in this video, we have one table that is a product three table. Here we have a four column that is product category, brand, product name, and price. So first we will going to see the first value window function, right? So the first value, I'll give you some background on first value window function. What the first value window function is all about. The first value in SQL window function is a window function that return the first value in the partition or window frame. It is particularly useful when you want to compare the current row to the initial value within the group. So the first question that arises in your mind that, why we're using a window function. So we can use the aggregated function as well in SQL. However, in aggregated function, when we use a group by statement, we will not going to get the whole table in front of us. So in the window function, what we will going to do is we will add extra column, the next to the price column, and comparing the result with using a window function. So it will be very interesting to see that how it will happen. So let's see the first value window function, right? So we'll create one scenario for the first value window function. So the scenario is write a query to display the most expensive product under the each category corresponding to the each record, right? So we want to get the most expensive product into this table. How we will going to get that, and we have to insert one line over here. So how we can do that? So I'm going to write the syntax for myself because doing the practice in SQL is very important. If you do the daily practice of the syntax, you will definitely get a hands-on on that. So I would suggest you to do the more and more practice in SQL so that you will get a hands-on on that. Okay. So the first value function. So what I'll do is first I will do the select star. Okay. I'll put a comma. Then I'll start with first value. Okay. I'll I need to provide the column name for which I want to do the partition. So this is the product name. So I'll take product name. Okay. Then we will use a over clause. Okay. So over clause is very important in window function. It specifies that we want to use a window function. So the SQL syntax will not apply the aggregated function. So the over clause is very important. Now here we will mention the partition, right? So we'll mention the partition by. Okay, so we want to partition this table by product category. So what I'll do is I'll copy this field name and paste it here. Okay, and we want to order by price. Okay, so we want the highest price on the top so that we will get a first value in that. Okay, so this is my syntax. So I will write this as a expensive product. Okay, expensive product. Okay, and then I will mention the table name from product three. Okay. So if I execute this syntax, so you can see the first window that we have created is this one. Okay. So here, if you see the price is on the lowest, right? So what we can do is we can just put as a descending, right? Because it is sorted in ascending. So if you don't put any ascending and descending, so by default SQL will sort your record in ascending order. So if you want to do the descending, you have to mention the descending over here. The syntax is DESC. Okay. So if I execute this statement, you can see in the auto. So it has created. So I'll explain this syntax to you. So what we are doing is here we are doing the product name. We are taking the first value as the product name. Okay, any column you can take it. You can take it brand, product name, or product category, whatever you want. And then we want to partition by the product category. This we want to create a window for the product category. So the product category auto. So we are creating one window for this auto, the second window for cycle, the third window for four-wheeler, right? So on and so forth. So here we are trying to create a window. So this is our first window, right? And we are doing the order by with the price in a descending order. So we want to sort the price column with highest to lowest. Okay. So in this case, and then here we are taking the first value. So here it is identifying the first value from the product name, right? So here we have passed the column name. So here we are taking the output from the product name column. That is a Hyundai Plus, right? So this is the most expensive product in this window. So that's why it has given, provided us the Hyundai Plus as a most expensive product, right? So on and so forth. If we go for the second window that we have for cycle, you can see the costly cycle, is in the first row because we have sorted by with the price in a descending order. So 550 is the most expensive cycle. So this one. So here we are replicating those item. Okay. I hope you got it. Now we will going to focus on the last value. The similar to the first value, there's a syntax for the last value, right? So last value, it will extract the last product name, from the table, right? So I'll just mention this. First, I'll take the, select star, we put comma, I'll put last value, okay? And then I'll open bracket. I need to pass the column name that I want. So I'll just put the column name. I'll use the over clause. In the over clause, I need to mention which, column I need a partition. So I'll just mention partition by, okay. I want a product category. I'll copy, I'll paste, and then I'll do order by price descending. Okay. And here I'll put less expensive product. Okay. So, and then I need to mention the table name from product three. Okay. So I need to close this. If I execute this statement, you can see this is my first window, and the last value over here is the Kia. Okay. But here, if you see, the result is not good, you know. So here, I would like to, bring the another topic that is a frame clause. Okay. So because this is like SQL is using a by default frame clause, this is what, we are getting an incorrect result. So let's see what is a frame clause and how we can come up with this kind of limitations. Okay. So I'll give you some background on the frame clause. So basically, the frame clause is the specific part of window function in SQL that define the set of row over which the window function operates. It allow you to calculate the aggregate or other value based on the specified range of row within the result set. Okay. So whenever we are using the window function, okay, whenever we are using a window function, it create a window or a partition that applies to the window of each of those partition. So for example, this one, okay? So this is the partition that we are doing. We are applying the window function over here. And inside of this partition, we can again create a subset of record. So these are the subset of records, okay? So each line in the, each record in the partition is a subset of the record, okay? The frame is a subset of partition. So default frame clause in SQL is like range between the unbounded preceding and current row. So our like if I mention you the by default frame clause that we have, it is range between range between unbounded preceding range between unbounded preceding and current row. Okay. So this is the by default frame clause, that SQL applies. Okay. Whether you are mentioning this or not, in the over clause, this will by default it is applying. So what this means is, right? So let's see what does it mean. So the range, we all know this is the range. between unbounded preceding. So unbounded preceding means this keyword is indicate that the frame should extend to the very first row of the result set. That is this result. Okay. Very first of the result set. It means that the window function will consider all the row from the beginning of the result set up to the current row. So this is my first row. Okay. The preceding and preceding to this row, there is nothing because this is the first row. So my preceding row will become a this row only. And my current row is this row only, right? So that's why we are getting the result Hyundai plus. Okay. And then if we move to second one, right? In the second row, my preceding row is Hyundai, right? And my current row is Mahindra. So if you look at the last value of the frame clause, it is a Mahindra plus. That's why we are getting a result of Mahindra plus. So if this subset is increased to third row, so here the preceding unbounded preceding is my first row and my current row is a Tata plus, right? So the last value function that we are using, so it is taking the last row, so that is why it is coming over here. So on and so forth. I hope you got this logic. So how can we come, from this limitation? So instead of current row, what we can do is we can just put unbounded preceding to unbounded following. If we put this unbounded following, okay, so this way we will go away with this limitation. So for example, here, in the over clause, after doing everything, it will come in the last. So what I'll do is I'll just take this over here, okay, and I'll put over here the range between unbounded preceding and unbounded following as a least exception. So if I run this syntax, now you can see if I take this, okay. So my last value is Kia, and here we are coming into Kia. So this is how I hope you understand what is a frame clause and what is the by default frame clause that SQL is using. Okay. So if you want to more example of this, I can give you that example. Consider the table, name as a sale with the column of date and amount. Okay. So if you use a window function like sum with the frame clause, the range between unbounded preceding and current row, it will calculate the cumulative sum of amount of each row starting from the first row and include the current row as well. Okay. So here is this. So the first row, it will consider the unbounded preceding to the first row, and there's no row prior to the first row, hence the current row is again the first row. Okay. So that is what I have explained previously. So I hope you got the logic for the frame clause. Okay. Now we will move on to the next topic that we have, that is alternate way to write a SQL for syntax. Okay, so like what is the alternate way to, because this is, if you see in the over clause, we are mentioning the very long stuff, and every time as and when, we will proceed, it will make your code very long, it will make your syntax very long. And, we have to, every time we have to this over clause every now and then, assume that you have a very large syntax, and you have to again repeat and repeat the same thing. How can you overcome with these limitations? So SQL is providing us, the window, one of the window function, where we can sort the syntax, right? So how can we do that? So let's see it. Okay. So for example, in the first value that we are mentioning over here, so what I can do is at the end, right? At the end, for example, here, we can mention window W as, so we can just take this one. Okay. Here. Okay. And we will also mention range between range between unbounded preceding and unbounded following, right? So this is a frame clause that we have to mention. So this frame clause basically, mostly it will impact the last value, nth value, all this kind of functions. So if we can make this by default for all the syntax, it will be easy for us, right? So here, instead of mentioning this one, what we can do is we can just mention W. Okay. And if I run this particular syntax, okay, you can see Hyundai plus, okay, it is coming like this. So instead of writing, the big query like over, partition by this one, you can just replace with, the smaller alias that is W. Okay. So that is the alternate way to write, this one. So for example, here you want a first value also. So what I can do is here, if I put this, comma, this last value, this, okay. And here, if I take this one, right, alias over here. Okay, in the last value also, I don't have to mention this long syntax. What I can do is I can just mention W. Okay, here you have to end this. Okay, so if I run this syntax, you can see, okay, the expensive product and least expensive product. So it is now two column, with the same thing. I hope you got the logic. If you want to shorten the, the syntax, we can just use this kind of function to sort the code. Okay. So this is the alternate way to write the SQL query. Now we will going to focus on nth value function. Yeah. So what is the nth value function? The nth value in SQL window function is the function that return the value of nth row within the window frame. So it's particularly useful when you want to access a specific row's value is based on its position within the group row. Okay. For example, we saw what is the first value, what is the last value. So the first value will get a most expensive product, last value will get a least expensive product, but the nth value will give something in the middle, right? For example, okay, in the first row we will get a first row as a as a result. In the last value we get a last value as a result. But if we want a middle row as a result, how can we achieve that? So, for example, the second most expensive product, if you want to identify, how will you going to do that? So this is the nth value function that we will going to use to get this result, right? So I'll just mention the scenario that we want to achieve. So write a query to display the second most expensive product. So how can we do that? So we'll just put select star. Okay. Then we'll put nth value. Okay. And then in the bracket, we have to specify the column name, that is product name. Okay. Then we'll mention the over clause. In the over clause, we'll mention partition by. So partition by would be my product category. I'll take product category. I'll do order by to sort the record from order by price in descending, okay, as s- second, right? Second most expensive product. Second, second expensive product. Expensive product. Okay. So I'll just give this name. Okay. But here we have to mention this second. Okay. And then we'll mention from product table name, that is product three. Okay, so if I execute this syntax, okay. So in the first row, right, basically we are ignoring the first row because prior to this row, we don't have anything. So that is a null. Okay. And then second, most expensive would be the Mahindra Plus. Okay. The 600, right? So that is where it is coming over here in this particular window. So in the next window, the prior to this is nothing because we have partitioned by the product category. So that's why it is null and it will give us, the second most expensive product over here. But if you want, okay, so this is the nth value function. Now we will move on to the next function that we have, that is entile function. So what is the entile function? So entile in SQL window function that divide the result set into the specific number of group, assigning the each row the group number from 1 to the specified number. And this is useful when you are creating a percentile or the quantile within the data set. Okay. So if you don't understand this, let's, once you see the syntax, you will going to understand this. So how can I write that? For example, select, I'll take this similar select star. Yeah, so here I'll close this syntax. Select star, I'll put comma, entire. entire. Okay. So here I can mention the how much bucket I need, for example, how much uh, specified number I need. So for example, I want to divide into three. Okay. I need to create a group of three. Okay. Then I'll mention the over clause. The over clause I'll mention order by price, order by price, order by price as descending. Okay. As bucket. Okay. So we want to create a bucket. Okay. So here we want to create a three bucket. Okay. Uh, for this table that we have from table name that is product 3. Okay, if I execute this syntax, you can see it has divided, the most expensive product. So here we are not specifying any partition. Okay, so we are taking the whole table as a window. Okay, and here we are trying to give a rank. Okay, so here we have, we are just providing this expensive as a 1. So basically what it is doing is it is taking the total number of record in the table and it is dividing by 3. So if I put a 4 over here, so it will divide the whole table into the 4 category. Yeah, and it will provide a rank according to that. So see, this is like the first group that I have, first window. This is the second bucket that I have, here. Sorry, till here. This is the third one, and this is the fourth one. Okay. So how much record I have? So here I have overall. Let me see the number of record that we have. So select count of product category. Yeah, from table name product three. Okay. So if I execute this, so we have total 25. Okay. So if I open the calculator, so 25 divided by 4, so around 6 to 7 record it should divide. So if I take this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So it is giving an importance to the first bucket. Okay. So this is a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So this is the second bucket that we have. Third bucket 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if it is an odd number, right? So 25 is odd number, right? So if you divide by into 4, so it is giving a preference to the first bucket. Okay. So in the first bucket, it has assigned the one extra number. But in the second bucket onward, it is dividing equally. Okay. So that is how it functions. Okay. So here what we want to achieve is write a query to segregate all the expensive phone, mid-range phone, and the cheaper phone, right? So how can we do that? In order to get this, we have to do the case statement, right? So since we already get the result of this bucket, right? And then we can just assign if it is the 1, then put a expensive product. If it is 2, it is a mid-range, and if it is 3, then it is a least expensive one. So how can we do that? We can just put this query into the as a subquery. Okay. So let's see how can we do that. So here I'll put this one, right? So I can just take select star. Sorry, select what we need is product name, right? We need product name. Okay. Select product name. Then we'll put a case. Okay. And here we will pass this in from this query. We will pass this as a subquery. Okay. From this. And here we'll put X. Okay. So here we can just put X on this. And the case statement is when X dot bucket. Okay. When X dot bucket is equal to 1, then should be expensive. Expensive. Okay. Then I will take this two, copy, paste. This. If it is equal to 2, mid-range, mid-range product. And if it is 3, it is less expensive. Okay. Then we have to end. Okay. And here we can just assign the column name as product category 1. Okay. This is a column name that I want to mention. So if I run this syntax, and this is why it is coming null. Let's see. Okay, so we have not mentioned the fourth. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just change this to 3. Okay, we want a bucket of 3. Okay, so if I execute this one, see now it's these product are the expensive, these product are the mid-range, and these product are the less expensive. So this is how you can do the analysis of the data, by writing this kind of syntax. Now let's move on to the next topic that we have, cum desk. Okay. So the cum desk is very important topic. We usually get this kind of request, in the real time scenario. So the cum desk basically it's a cumulative distribution. Okay. So the cum desk is a window function in SQL that calculate the cumulative distribution of the value within the partition. It return a value between 0 and 1, indicating the portion of the value within the partition that are less than or equal to the current. Okay. So the formula to calculate the cum disk is very simple. The current row number, okay, divide by the total number of row. Okay. So let's see the scenario that we have in front of us. So we need to query to fetch. Okay. So I'll just paste the scenario over here. So query to fetch the all product which are constituting the first 30% of the data. Let's say I want 40%. Okay. So query to fetch all the product which are constituting the first 40% of the data in the product table based on the price. Okay. So we want to achieve this. So how can we do that? First, we will mention the cube disk, this one. So select star. Okay. So here we need to close this. Okay. Select star cube disk. Okay. We'll use cube disk. We'll use overclock. Now we will mention order by price because we want the expensive products on the top. Order by price as descendant. Okay. As cum dist. Cum distribution. Okay. So this is my first this one from product name that is product 3. Okay. If I run this syntax, let's see what we will going to get. So here, if you see this number, so how it is getting calculated is I'll let you know. So we have a total number of record is 25. Okay. So I'll take my calculator. So we have 25. Okay. And then we have what it is showing. The formula is current row number divided by total number of row. Okay. So current is 1 divided by 25, 0.04. Okay. And then if I move to second row, that is 2 divided by 25, 0.08. If you move to third one, 3 divided by 25, this will come into 0.1. Okay. So this is the cum disk, that we are getting. Now, what we want to achieve, what is the first 30, 40% of the a record, right? Have to take this as a subquery, right? So what I'll do is, so I'll take select product name, right? Product name and cum distribution. Okay. From I'll pass this query as a subquery. Okay. And here I'll put the alias as X. Okay. Only X. Okay. Where cum distribution, X dot cum distribution. So these are the record that, you know, we should get it. Okay. So these are the less than, these are the record that is less than, the 40% of the overall population, overall records that we have. Okay. So I hope you got the logic. Now we will going to see the percent rank. What is a percent rank? The percent rank window function in SQL calculate the relative rank of the value within the group of value. It returns the decimal value between 0 and 1 and representing the percentage rank of the current row within its partition. The percent rank, so let's see what is the formula of the percent rank. So this is the formula of percent rank basically. So the percent rank relative rank of the current row divided by percentage ranking. The formula is current row minus 1 divided by total number of row minus 1. Okay. So this is a formula of percent rank. So now we have a scenario like query to identify how much percentage more expensive is Kia Plus when compared to all the products. Okay. So this is our query that we need to identify. What we will do is we will use the percent rank function to get this result. Okay. So select star. Okay. We'll use a percent rank. We'll use overclose. We'll do order by. Oh, sorry. Write order by price. Okay. We'll just put this as a alias name that is percent rank. Okay. From table name. From table name is product 3. Okay. So if I execute this one, you can see we have, this value, the rank. Okay. So how it got calculated? Let's see in the calculator. Okay. So I'll open the calculator. Okay. So we have 25 number of record. Okay. So the formula is current row minus 1. So current row is like row number 1. Minus 1 is 0. If you divide any number with 0, it will come to 0. So let's ignore this one. We'll come to row number 2. So the current row number is 2. 2 minus 1, 1 divided by, so total number of row we have a 25. So 25 minus 1 is 24. So if I do this, so it is 0.41666. Okay. So that is how it is getting calculated, so on and so forth. Okay. So I think this doesn't look good. So let's round this to 2 decimal. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll copy paste the query. I'll round, I'll use the round function. And I'll put 2 and this. Okay. I need to mention comma over here. Okay. So if I execute this one, you can see this is like 2 decimal now. Okay. And if I multiply with 100, I'll get this number. Okay. So this is a percentile. Now, what is the query? Query to identify how much percent are more expensive is here. Okay. So we will pass this query to subquery. Okay. So I'll write a main query that is select product name. Okay. Pro- product name. Select product name. Percent rank. Yeah. We put one. Percent rank one. Yeah. From. So this will be passed as a subquery and name this query to X. Yeah. Now we'll use where clause where x dot product name is equal to Kia plus. Okay. Let's close this query. So these are the the percent and the 4% and 46%. Okay. So I hope you got this video. So that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed this session. If you like this video, please hit a like button and don't forget to subscribe this channel. This will give us a motivation to do the more hard work and bring the latest video in front of you. So don't forget to subscribe this channel. Thank you so much.